Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Hawthorne on Sunday. Race number 5 is the Hawthorne Derby. It's 100 grander going a mile and an eighth on the turf for 3-year-olds. Let's take a look at this field. Your morning line favorite at 7-5 is the number 1, Really Good, going out for the top class Michael Maker connections. Third in the Grade 2 Bourbon last year, Mike, but you can make an argument hasn't improved much since.
Yeah, we'll see. He started off the layoff now. He's going to have to, start taking steps forward here as a 3-year-old, Dan, especially if he's going to be a short price in here. But he did place in 2 stakes races last year for really good connections. So I kind of get why he's the morning line favorite.
He was close to the pace on an off turf event last time. I think he's at his best when you take him back and make one run. Let's see if Timeform US concurs with that assessment. They have Really Good with the LP flag designation over his number 1 Chiclet, which means he has the fastest late pace rating from Timeform US. They have him near the back of the pack. The 5 Active Fool's been very good on dirt in his last 3 starts on the lead, and I would expect him to make the running.
He looks like the speed of this race to me. It's all about whether or not he handles this surface. But his most recent start, if he can transfer that figure over, makes him a strong contender in here, Dan. He's got a little turf pedigree.
Really Good is the number 1. Again, we talked about him, earned a couple of stakes placings last year. Didn't really do much at a big price in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and he's really only had 1 run on turf this year off the layoff. Didn't fire that day, closed a little bit late. He's a horse that I think is going to want every bit of this mile and an eighth. I'm just not sure he has such an edge. I want to take 7-5.
I feel the same way about him. I mean, I don't care about the last race on the dirt. He was terrible at Keeneland. Maybe that was just a way better field, Dan. I don't know, but he didn't do any running at all in that race. And listen, I remember really liking his debut at Saratoga. He got a great trip in that race and won. But I liked the way that he did it. I haven't necessarily liked anything he's done since then.
Wolf Hunter is the number 2. This horse is a 15-time maiden that's going to be stepping up into the stakes ranks for the first time. He ran well in his turf debut last time out, but he was a big price against maidens. He should be a bigger price against this field, and he just has to do more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say he handled turf last time. He finished second without ever threatening the wire-to-wire winner in there. But to me, he didn't improve enough to make me want to bet him in this race.
Money Agent made his career debut in the United Arab Emirates on dirt. He didn't run very well. He shows up at Hawthorne, the maiden special. He showed a little bit more early interest in his turf debut. He tired at the end, however, at a big price. He's another maiden. He's getting blinkers. Maybe they try to get forward with him.
Yeah, I guess they could try to use speed here, his speed here, Dan, and see if he gets a better trip. I still don't think he's fast enough to make the lead from the 5 Active Fool. So we'll see if maybe he just falls into another trip in this race. He was in that Wolf Hunter race last time. I didn't think that he ran that well.
Like the 2 and the 3, the 4 Russian Hammer is trained by Manny Perez. I thought his turf debut was okay last time out, going a mile, better than it looks on paper. He was 40-1, and he was entered for a $50,000 tag. He sort of lagged behind a solid pace, got to the outside, and he was running on a little bit at the end. That was okay, but these are better horses, and again, he'll have to do more. Maybe he can sneak into the number at a decent price with some improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your take on his turf debut last time. It was a fine performance, and maybe it was the best race that he's ever run. I still don't see, why that would make them want to enter him in this race. I mean, it's not a super strong field, Dan, but it's, way better than the horses he just lost to.
Despite never racing on turf, the 5 Active Fool could be the one to beat. It is the 9-5 second choice for trainer Larry Ravelli. He's won his last 3 starts on dirt. He's won them very easily, all around 2 turns. It's all about whether he handles the turf. He's by Oscar Performance, who is a very good turf horse. There is some turf in this family, and if he handles it, he's going to be very tough to catch, and he's probably the horse to catch and beat. I just hate taking short prices on these kind of horses that are great unknowns on surfaces.
I mean, I'm with you there. It's really hard when you go through this field, the other 5 horses in here, to not take his chances really seriously, Dan. I mean, he's been good on dirt. He's got figures that suggest if he just transfers it over, doesn't even have to improve, just run as well on the surface as he did on turf, he'll be really hard to beat. He's by Oscar Performance. The only other fool from this dam has won 4 times. All those wins are on the grass. He's got enough pedigree to handle it.
Completing the field is the 6 Out of Deductions, who made his Hawthorne Park debut in his second lifetime start. This is a maiden special weight going a mile. He got a very big pace to attack. He's on the far outside, and these horses on the lead, They look like they're ready for a nap. Out of Deductions just runs by them all, and then he runs up the score. I'm not sure he's going to get that sort of pace set up here, but it was a promising performance over the course, and he's now with Chris Block, a trainer that I have a great deal of respect for.
Yeah, me too. It's also worth noting too, Dan. I mean, he obviously wins this race for fun. And it's worth pointing out the horse that finished second there did come back to win his next start, and he improved his figure by 20 points. So that horse might not be a total pushover. This horse also ran pretty well in his debut at Tampa. He was super green in that race. He got away very slowly and got outrun, but he ran at the end of that race and passed some horses. Obviously took the step forward last time. Huge pedigree for a really good trainer. Feels like they found a good spot for him here.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Hawthorne Derby. We're against the two favorites. Out of Deductions did enough in his first two starts to make me think if he can just get a decent trip, and I don't think he's some one-run plodding closer. I think he can stay within range. Maybe he can make that run again and run down a horse like Akafool.
Yeah, that's exactly how I looked at it too, Dan. Especially, I mean, we'll see. I don't know that this morning line is going to be close to right, but at those morning line prices, it was pretty easy call to take the 6 in this race. The only other horse for me is the 5. I hate the 1. I don't want any part of him as the favorite. I like 6-5.
6512 for Mike, 6142 for me. We'll see if Out of Deductions makes him pay in the Hawthorne Derby.